Good afternoon. It's Pastor Malcolm in the afternoon. Good to see you all. Just wanted to touch base with everybody this week and follow up from a letter that I sent out earlier in the week. I'm reminded of a story about a man and his wife who were very faithful, attending church each and every single Sunday. The story, when I first heard it, was about a Yorkshire Dales farmer and his wife. The farmer's wife was very faithful about encouraging the family to get out and go to worship every single week. They were always there until there came a time when the farmer's wife died. And it kind of left the widower to himself to make the decisions. What happened was that he found that when he went to church, he was more sad than he was happy. And so he stopped going, because everything about the church reminded him of all the things that he didn't have. And so he kind of stayed at his home, reclused himself away, and in time, the community of faith noticed that this farmer was no longer coming. And so the pastor decided to reach out to him. So he went out and visited the farmer at his homestead. It was a particularly cold day. And what happened was that as the pastor kind of came into the house and sat down, no words were exchanged between the farmer and the pastor. They sat there for some time. And then, noticing that there was a coal fire there inside the living room, the pastor went ahead and took one of the coals out of the fire that was burning brightly and placed it on the hearth. As he did so, the coal just slowly started to simmer, and then it grew dark, and then it sort of just stopped emitting any kind of heat, any kind of light. And as they sat there for a moment, they watched the coal, and then the pastor went ahead and picked up the coal with the tongs and placed it back into the fire. And with that, he had a moment of prayer with the pastor or with the parishioner, and proceeded to leave. That following Sunday, the old farmer returned to the church. The message is pretty clear to us that when we remove ourselves from the community of faith, what happens is that oftentimes our spirit starts to wane and we start to lose enthusiasm. We lose the light and the love of Christ that we experience within the community of faith that fires us up and gets us enthused. And slowly, we start to lose some of that spirit, just like that coal that was on the hearth that was starting to go out. When we return, we have an opportunity to revitalize ourselves, to enthuse ourselves. Anyways, that story was kind of making me think a little bit about the struggles that we've had in returning to live in-person worship here at Center&Main. I know that many of us have, out of convenience, have possibly continued in the practice of rising in the morning and watching worship on our TV screens. I actually got a letter from somebody this past week who challenged me and said, "Why are you calling me lazy? And why are you speaking that people who don't come to worship are lazy?" That was not my intent by any stretch or means. My intent was to encourage us to realize that there is a difference between watching worship on a TV screen opposed to being in the presence of worship. And I likened it to the fact that if you go to a Ravens football game, you experience the game in a completely different light than when you're watching them beat the Steelers on your TV at home. Sure, you can get enthused, you can get excited about the moment, but it's all to yourself. And worship is not about being by ourselves. Worship is about being with one another. Paul even challenged the community of believers to not neglect the opportunity for coming together, as some have done. Now, I understand that the pandemic season has been really challenging on many of us. We've had to learn to socially distance. We've had to step away. We even, cut down on the opportunity to worship together by providing streaming options and videos and Zoom calls. And we've done a lot to try to maintain our connectivity so that where two or three are gathered, we acknowledge that Christ is in our midst, even if we're separated by the boundaries of physical space. But there is still nothing like coming together. It's the opportunity to see our friends and to fellowship with one another and to celebrate with one another. It's to acknowledge that God is present both in this place and all places, but more so when we come together with other followers, we have the opportunity to give praise and worship to God. We can do that at home. We can do that alone. There's no doubt about it. But at the same time, that is more of an element of devotion than it is of corporate worship. Now, I've used the tag consistently throughout this season that the church is not a building. The church is who we are and where we are. This does not change. That is still a true fact. The church is not here at Center&Main. But when the people who embody the church come together, then what happens is that there is more of a corporate celebration that takes place. And there is nothing comparable to that. Now, we are continuing to stream services. Why are we continuing to do that? Well, partly because we acknowledge that this is still a time of great ambivalence. We're still not all comfortable with doing things and going places and seeing people and unmasking ourselves. And so there are people that are also homebound who cannot get out and about. And streaming is a fantastic way for them to experience other people worshiping. It is also a great opportunity for them to connect and hear the weekly message. But worship is not about hearing a weekly message. It's really about what we bring into the experience. It's also convenient so that if we're away on the weekend or possibly we work on a Sunday morning, we can still tune in to the YouTube channel and watch the worship service that was held the Sunday before. And obviously, when we're unwell, it's better to stay at home, and we can still stay connected with our community of faith through worshiping at home. So I want you to understand that there is no pressure for you to return to worship, and rather, it is an encouragement to do so. And I hope that you'll join us this coming Sunday at 10 a.m. here at Center&Main. There's also going to be other opportunities that we're starting up. I'm going to be starting up a prayer group. In conversation with our lay leader, Woody, we decided that it would be good for the church and the people of the church to gather together to pray each week. And so on Thursday mornings at 9 a.m. throughout the summer months, I'm encouraging, if you would like to join us in a time of prayer, for you to come join us in the Martha Manahan. This will be an in-person opportunity. Also, there are other opportunities of fellowship events that are being planned throughout the summer, and we encourage you to participate in those as well as they come available. Our Sunday school classes will be taking a break. This summer, we hope to rebuild our Sunday school program. In fact, this Sunday, we get to celebrate those teachers that have consistently throughout this past year served as sending out information to our Sunday school students, as well as some of the other opportunities that we're looking forward to in the fall and celebrating the promotion of students from one grade to the next. The certificates are in the mail, and hopefully by Sunday morning, everybody will have them. If you and your family are coming to worship, we invite you to bring the certificates with you to worship. If you're at home and watching the service, then I encourage you to have your child there with their certificate as well. Lots of things are being planned in these coming months. Various teams within the church are working hard to bring about a program in the fall. I'm encouraging you to pray for our community of faith, for God's witness to continue here at Center&Main, and for our ministries to multiply. I think many years ago there was the prayer of Jabez, please enlarge my territory. May God enlarge our territory here at Center&Main as we reach out into the community to serve. Now, there will be some changes. I'm hoping that meetings will continue to meet via Zoom. Meetings are necessary as a part of our community of faith. And I know that some wish to meet in person, and that is fine. But I know that others run efficiently just as well by us continuing our Zoom meetings. But mission and ministry and worship and Bible study and prayer and all these other opportunities are great places and great opportunities for us to come together. And so, my friends, I encourage you, come out and join us this Sunday. Some of you have been wondering about what we're doing about our various styles of worship. Well, throughout the summer, we have special music that has continued to be planned. Kyler shared with me this morning that almost all the Sundays have an event that's taking place, which is exciting through the summer months. And also, the praise band is returning this coming Sunday. They'll be playing the pre-music before the service, and on the third Sunday, they'll be playing the pre-music and have an anthem as well. And so our praise band is coming back into service within the life of the church. We're looking forward to you being back in the life of the church, and hopefully by this fall, we'll all be into the pattern of returning and being excited about being present here. So I hope to see you on Sunday, and join us here at Center&Main, 10 a.m. God bless.